Welcome to Later is Greater, Women Over 60 Embracing Life. I'm so glad you chose to be here today because we're continuing the conversation around the important subject of authentic living. You know, there's nothing more beautiful in our lives than being true to ourselves, being who we were meant to be. And the older we get, the more precious that life becomes to us. Pondering your identity is transforming because women over 60, let's face it, we didn't get to be 60 without hard-earned wisdom. Often we have suppressed our personal ambitions as we took on other roles in our central years. Now, it is time to step into our authentic life and live fulfilled lives. Who you are today and who you want to become tomorrow creates an energetic shift in your soul. I know I felt it. But this is not a bad thing. This is a wonderful beginning as you take stock of what you have already accomplished in your life and what you have yet to achieve. Hold on. If you are like most of us and somehow feel like a failure because you haven't achieved your dreams yet, know that this tension that you're feeling is actually energy that you already possess within your soul. You need to embrace it. It's your ambition. It's your mojo. It's your drive. But before you can do anything with that, you first have to know who you are today. To help you with that, I'm giving you a daily authenticity checklist. It's free for you to use. It's just a one-pager. Now let's begin. Thinking about who you are will strengthen the connections in your mind, body, and your behavior. You can also get a better handle of where you are in life as well as where you're headed. This forms your personal identity, which is more than just your thoughts and feelings. Although there are plenty of psychological theories out there about your identity, including how you maintain it and how it came to be, we're just going to talk about the basic elements of your identity: personal family history, social groups, physical appearance, and self-image. The first one we'll look at is your personal family history, where you were raised, who you grew up with, and the experiences that you accumulated as you were growing up and maturing. Simon Sinek has an interesting video that you might be interested in looking at. It's all about find your why, and you find your why by going through events from your past that had a big impact on you. Knowing how you were affected will allow you to live out your why in a better way. So personal family history is one of those points. That being said, your history doesn't have to be the end of your story. It's an encouraging thing because you can be in control of that. You can always change the ending. Number 2, the group of people you hang out with. This is a very popular subject as well, and it goes along with a famous quote of Jim Rohn that suggests that the people we surround ourselves with have a significant impact on who we become. And that's probably true. Think about it. Perhaps several of your friends play golf, for example, and so do you. Or you're into fitness and your friends are as well. So you associate and gravitate towards people who have similar interests. And this too is something that you can control. You can be selective about the people that you choose to hang out with. It's not an easy one and done, but it's something that you are in control of and you can monitor that. Number 3, your physical appearance. The clothes you wear, the way you fix your hair, the way you conduct yourself physically, all of these combine to make up an important aspect of your personal identity. Although your appearance isn't the only thing that's relevant about who you are, your physical state does provide a picture of who you are. I know I probably share this with many women who came out of the corporate world. We were conditioned to dress in suits with pantyhose, high heels, and actually a lot of those suits were modeled on men's suits, and so were the shirts. I remember being trained as I was a stockbroker in Toronto, and we had 2 days of clothing inspection and training, and there were many times that we were analogous to how men dressed. So that's changed a lot since then. However, One thing that I can share is the invention of the athleisure market. All this beautiful casual clothing and footwear. Honestly, the footwear is such an important piece, and I actually did a video on a pair of sneakers that I discovered. As I was wearing these sneakers, I no longer needed insoles, and a lot of the pain that I had in my knees went away. In fact, they were the reason that I was able to run 1,000 kilometers a year. Something as simple as a pair of shoes that affects the entire kinetic chain from your foot all the way to your head has a significant impact on the quality of your life. Again, this is a choice. It's part of your physical appearance. Your feelings, thoughts, and beliefs about yourself. In other words, your self-image. It's made up of how you feel about yourself as an individual, and also what you believe to be true about yourself is a powerful force in determining your personal identity. But we all have limiting beliefs about ourselves that require to be looked at a second time, because most of the time they're either not true or they can be shifted into an empowering quality about ourselves. There are certain qualities about ourselves that we may not like. I know for myself that I cannot focus on one thing for any long period of time, and I used to think that was a negative quality. However, that can be an asset when you are multitasking, when you have to take on several responsibilities simultaneously. So that's not actually a bad thing. That's a quality. At one time, I was hired because of that quality. So don't be so negative on yourself. When it comes to embracing your personal identity, make it a point to think about who you are as an individual human being on this earth, and recognize that your personal identity is a complex mix of your history, your affiliations, your thoughts, and your beliefs about yourself. How you appear to others is also a representation of your identity. When you ask yourself what truly matters to me, or who am I when I'm not trying to meet others' expectations, this opens a lot of questions. It's a virtual Pandora's box. I have found, as I had to reinvent my life several times in my 67 years, that having a project that uses my skills and abilities is something that became like a seed that was planted in my brain, something that I could ponder in my mind and treat it as if it was a child. You nurture it. I thought about it constantly. I looked for ways that I can bring it to life. Here I am doing this podcast. Feed your ambition by things that bring you joy. Something as simple as a walk in nature, watching a sunset, playing with your dog, all of this energy that fuels that ambition. So in my case, my running, that was what I did. And that was during those runs that I had a lot of interests and ideas that came to me. Here's a third point, one that is not spoken about very often. It's our capacity to turn the unavoidable adversity in our life into triumph, finding meaning within our suffering. We hear a lot about how to find meaning in our life from things that are outside of ourselves, but we never hear about how we actually have the power to create it. It starts with knowing who you are to begin with, so that you can step into a life of fulfillment. Before we wrap up this conversation, I want to remind you that I have a long-form video on this topic. The link is below. I also have the Daily Authenticity Checklist and the Embrace Your Identity Reflection. They're free for you. Please download them and use them as you take this action step in your life. Thank you so much for being here. I am so happy that you stopped by and you took time out of your day to listen in. It means a lot to me to encourage women of my generation to step into their power and live a fulfilled life. It's a process. It doesn't just happen. And I'm so happy that you're coming along this journey with me. I will be waiting for you in the next episode, when we'll be talking about how writing down your past can help you know yourself today. It's a journaling activity. I hope you'll meet me there. In the meantime, have an empowered week, and thank you.